friends, so it's time that I share what Spirit has put me right now in front of you to share. And it's about the clarity that I received in the morning when I woke up. And it was just so beautiful when I received, because the way I hear Spirit and hear my guides, it's like feathers rubbing all over me, and it was just so beautiful. I felt the angelic presence around me so powerfully. And before I showed up here and started to record this video, in the past 30-40 minutes, it was just like this beautiful experience that I was having with guides. I was just feeling them. So today morning, when I woke up, I was led to the deeper clarity around my work. You know, the work that I want to do with my clients and work that I want to do in this world. And when I started my business and started to show up on YouTube or on Instagram, and I was not that clear, but yes, I was right in my action to start showing up online and start to put myself out there. Even though I was unsure, I was not confident, I was showing up from a place of seeking validation, proving myself, or for all the not so aligned reasons. Okay, and I am glad I still showed up, yeah, regardless of I was feeling confused, unclear, and all of that. Because that part of the process, me feeling lost, me feeling underconfident, me seeking validation, everything was very necessary in a bigger picture. So when I was showing up, and even when I started my business, I did not know what I'm gonna do, but it was like I need to do that, and it's like you go for a match, you go for a cricket match, and in the process of winning the World Cup, in the process of just you winning a tournament, there are gonna be like those kind of really heartbreaking moments. Maybe you thought you're gonna win, and then it didn't happen. That's heartbreaking. Maybe you thought like, oh my god, it's gonna be the best match ever, and then within the first two balls you're out, or some injury happens, or something like that. And it tests you, and it's beautiful when you are, anything I have learned. It's like when you are going for really following your purpose and your passion, and your passions are linked to your bigger purpose, and your personal purpose in life is linked to the bigger picture that God has for everybody. So you following your joy, you following your inspirations, you start to loving yourself, you start to building good habits, you start to having positive inner dialogue. All these things are not very little, they are like really big in the big picture. So it's very necessary. And I just, wow, Spirit just came, and like when I said this, Spirit just like, whoa, I had so many shocks, not shocks, but like really tingles, like my guide. Wow, you guys really needed to hear that. Let me know in the comments if that were you, okay? It will like make me so happy to know like you needed to hear that. And so when I started my business and I was showing up confused and all of that, that was necessary, because I needed to, my character was needed to develop. And in the past 3 years of me showing up online, me going through, like, I was like vulnerable in front of the camera, when I was like, oh my god, donate for my rent, food, and bills, and like I have no like I was tested, and I'm so glad it was. I don't want it any other way, because my intentions are so much clear now. And so, wow, it's just so beautiful. So if you are going through some challenges in the process of following your dreams and your purpose, you you have no idea how beautiful it's gonna be for you, and how it's just so beautiful. Like, it's really the way God polishes you and sharpens you and just brightens you. It's really beautiful. And so that was happening for me in the past 3 years, and still it is. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna shop online just like a beginner, and people are gonna see me. And it's not just that I was beginning my business and I was just following my passion. It was like, I'm the first woman in my family doing this, thinking for it herself. Just like, even the way that I dress up, I follow my creativity. Nobody were allowed to do that. Women in my family were not allowed to do that, and nobody, not even men, are allowed to do that. People live in fears, of what people are gonna think and all of that. And when I was like, I'm gonna make my own money, I did not know that me just randomly acting on this inspiration of showing up online, and just randomly putting my offers out there, back in 2021, um, it's gonna lead to this. Like, I didn't know, like, what a game changer it's gonna be. I didn't realize the depth of it at that time. So when I was like, okay, I'm gonna make my own money, and it was scary and all of those things, because no one has done that in my family, no women. And it was like me challenging the survival fears, because everything that has stopped my grandmothers, my mothers, and all the women from the what do we say, environment I come from, all these limiting beliefs, all these fears, and these fears were survival based. Like, will I have the food or not, will I have the home or not? There is nobody who can hold me and guide me through my fears and anxiety, in those moments. And that was like really shock, like complete abandonment. All these fears I had to face, and I faced them, and I could do it because of God. And wow, I started this video because I wanted to talk about the clarity that God wanted me to speak about, that I had received in the morning. But this entire video, as I always say, I never plan. I just show up, and God talks, like just guides me to talk. um, and that's how it has been so far, and that's how it's gonna be always. Because I refuse to settle for anything that is not coming from God. And I refuse to settle for anything that is not coming from God. I refuse to settle for not being led by God. And I'm just about like being led by God, like God moving my mind, my body, and my heart. And that's how I show up online and make these videos and all. um, so in the morning I received the clarity that my work is about letting people see who they truly are, because it's very unfair that people live in complete ignorance of themselves, who they truly are. Because we see ourselves through the lens of shame, through the lens of our past mistakes that we may have done when we were little, or when we had no guidance, or when we just grew up in a poor environment where we saw wrong things and heard wrong things. We were very unconscious and there was no guidance. So we looked at ourselves through the lenses of our past mistakes. I used to feel like, oh my god, I stole that money when I was little. I stole the money from my friend who really trusted me when I was in my college, or I lied in certain moments, or I had certain sexual fantasies that happen. And I have separate videos on why we have certain kind of sexual fantasies that can make us feel like that, and especially when we go through sexual abuse and all, and that was very present in my life. So I had like certain very weird sexual fantasies, and the more my self love grew, I'm just a very completely different person now. So I had a lot of compassion for that aspect of me. But anyway, whatever I'm sharing right now, it's only the right people find it, because I understand how people can just misjudge you and all of that. When you are not coming from a place of compassion, you can, of course, you misjudge yourself, but you also misjudge other people. Okay. uh, and also, like, what else I used to feel, I used to judge myself for thinking like, oh my god, judging people on the basis of their colors and their financial background and all, because that's how I was judged, and that's what I saw everyone around me in my home, doing that. And when you are little and you see all of these things happening, I was like, I also learned that, and I was like, no, I don't want to be that person. God taught me better, but as my journey of being a healer, spiritual mentor, and coach for people, I had to go through my challenge. If I wasn't going through all these traumas and challenges in my life, I wouldn't be able to help people, you know so now, because I personally went through all of these things, I know exactly what my people need from me. And so, anyway, I was looking at myself from all the lenses of my past failures, how other people saw me, how what my mistakes was, all the just weird shit that I had learned from, yeah, from like my past and everything. And then, because I started to see myself very clearly, I really not only intellectualized the truth, but felt it, that I'm a child of God. I am so pure and innocent, and I am not those mistakes that I made. I am not all these false things I learned about love, sex, money, food, and people, you know because, yeah, we have been taught really weird shit around all these things. And one of the weirdest shit that I learned from the environment that I grew up in, around dancing. It was like, oh my god, you dance, you are sexualized, and you're like inviting the sexual attention only. But dance and like doing the steps and all, it's very empowering, and it's a topic for another video anyway. So I received that clarity that I really want to help people moving forward. One of the way is like by you know and God is going to do that, not me. It's God. What God wants to do through me is helping people see who they truly are, to see the innocence of their inner child, to see their heart, and to see themselves beyond the mistakes that they have made, beyond the shame, going beyond the shame, deeper than that, and see uh, like who they, and see themselves with the eyes of compassion and love, and how like they are created by the God, just through those light of like through those eyes of love, and wonder. Because that's what we all are, all of us. We are like really just pure diamonds and stars, beautiful, beautiful stars. Um, and we just, our perspectives get blocked with the shame and mistakes, and we don't look deeper, uh, you know um, but I just pray that God grants us the strength to forgive ourselves and move beyond the identities that are rooted in shame and our past mistakes, you know uh, yeah. And learning to love. I always say, like, my conversation with God in the past few, like, before the past few weeks was that, God, I don't know. I do not know how to love. I do not know anything about money. I do not know anything about business. I do not know how to help people, because I am a person, because uh, that I can't I was I was I was I was not like I would not even go to college because I was so anxious, that how do I sit around people, 20-30 people. I was just, it was very, the panic that would kick in when I was around people, because I grew up around very violent people, monstrous kind of people. I grew up in a home where sexual abuse was happening, and it impacted me that way, that I started to have anxiety around human beings. So, me working with people, helping people, no, I don't know that. No. But God does, and God's gonna lead me. Even though I don't know how it's gonna happen, how I'm gonna, like, my conversation with myself was, I don't know how will I start the business, how will I talk to people, how I'm gonna support them, guide them, lead them, and what, but I know God's gonna make it happen. It's not my work, it's God's work. It's God's channel, YouTube channel, it's God's Instagram page, it's God's business, you know, and it's it's just my life is about it's just what God's gonna create, the magic that God's gonna create. And I really pray that other people, because how I see, like, I was listening to the interview of Jeremiah, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce her name correctly. She's a cricketer, and she was like, she inspired me a lot. She was talking about, yeah, some things. Anyway, I connected with her for some reason. Um, she just came into my consciousness, in my consciousness. Like, I never knew about her, like, she existed, but in the last 3 days I only got to know. And then I saw her videos and all. I was like, wow, my inner child really got connected with her. Anyway, so yeah, I just hope, like, it inspires you, and it really connects you as well in your journey, your connection with God. And, like, and know that even if you don't know how, but God's gonna lead you. God's gonna lead your mind, your body, and your heart to the best of the best outcomes. And what God's gonna do through you, it's beautiful. You may not feel like you're big enough for that, but that's not how God sees you. God sees you as such a beautiful potential, that the good things that it can create through you. It's just so beautiful. Yeah, I don't know what's the point of this video was, but I'm sure it was really good and beautiful, because creativity does not make sense. It does not make sense, and I have always taken the steps that did not make sense to me in the moment. I was like, why God is asking me to like, talk about my things online? Why God suddenly wants me to do the braids and dress differently than I usually would? And then dots started to connect in such a beautiful, powerful way. And I'm so glad that God led me into following these inspirations that I was receiving from gods and goddesses only. And I was following them without knowing the full picture. And I was able to, like, my fear of looking differently than other people, because I was making different choices in my personal life. And it was like I was looking different than others, definitely. Either it was with my outlook, but, like, also my beliefs started to change, so my energy became very different. So I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be completely isolated. But then, no, I was connected to something, like, I started to connect it to something bigger. And then it's just so beautiful, like, the way God leads, It's magic, it's pure magic, and it's like the most beautiful process, the process of getting hurt, breaking your heart, and God's building you, right? It's just all so beautiful. Yeah, book a one-on-one intuitive guidance session with me if you want intuitive guidance. And more, even more better is getting into my mentorship of 12 weeks. And if you want to learn to love yourself, reconnect back to your creative gifts, and have this solid support system of, like, becoming this person, uh, this beautiful woman that you came here to be, or this beautiful creative man that you came here to be, my mentorship is for you. And like processing the deep emotions that you have been avoiding from so long, the pain that you have been avoiding, because if you have been avoiding that, that means you're also avoiding your growth and your real magic. Okay. uh, the love that you want, the friendships that you want, the relationships that you want, the joy, the love, the harmony that you want to experience in your relationships comes through vulnerability. And vulnerability, before it can happen with others, it happens to you and with God. Like, I don't know God, I cannot take it anymore, all these vulnerable moments. And it's not just this, but it's so much deeper. When you sit with that and you see that, uh, you know that grief that happens when you see, like, okay, I've been living with this false idea of myself for so long, and when that's sunk into your body, there is grief that takes place. And wow, all these, and just when you sit with these emotions, and I want to be your support system in those moments, so hire me. Okay. Wow, so beautiful. I'm just super excited to the people that I'm gonna be working with. And I'm just so excited to what God has for me, as God has inspired me to start this work and start to launch my mentorship and all of that. Yeah, link of everything is in my bio. You can also support me by sending me donations for my rent, food bills, my fruits, and like my dog's food and vaccines and all. It will just help me, link of my donation is also in my bio. I'll see you in another video. Comment down below how this message resonated with you, because it will just, yeah, I would be happy to know that.